This show is sponsored by RainPro Irrigation. Georgia ranks number 2 in the U.S. for startups for women, and that's for the Atlanta metro area. For all of the state, what initiatives do you think that could help women and minorities?
Well, thank you for the question, and yes, absolutely. As Lieutenant Governor, I want to grow the economy all across Georgia, in all communities and in all different demographics. And I think a really good way to do that is for us to focus on being the technology capital of the entire East Coast of this country. One of the things that makes technology so unique is that it knows no boundaries. And I think to do that and to empower women, as you mentioned, to be business owners and to be business decision makers and to be entrepreneurs and innovators, we can embrace technology as an opportunity for us to really put ourselves on the global map. We're going to have to do a better job educating in K through 12 to a 21st century economy. We're going to have to continue to do much better in how we create and train a workforce to a global economy also. And so Lieutenant Governor, I'm going to look for ways, and I think it's a great way to really continue to grow those opportunities.
Would you invite more education as far as in small business opportunities for students, for women, for young girls?
Yeah, one of the unique things that we've just passed out of the Senate up here recently was we added more computer science curriculum to all of the high schools across the state. And I think in the next 3 years, we're going to have an opportunity for every high school to be offering a computer science curriculum. And so that's going to look different ways in different parts of the state, but I think it's a great way to just really invite kids, girls, boys, in all parts of the state to really participate in that. And even if they're not going to be a technology programmer or data analysts, most of us are working for a technology company today, even if we don't know it, right? Big companies like UPS and Coke are technology companies, all the way down to bicycle shops and lawnmower shops count on social media and data analytics and web presence and all those things in between. So yes, I think this really helps rural Georgia because it allows them to meet businesses much closer than having to come to a big city.
By having Valdosta State in our area, I'm glad that you mentioned about, those science fields instead of moving up to the Atlanta area. Now, don't get me wrong, Atlanta is wonderful to be at, but we would like to grow the economy in South Georgia as well.
To be the state we want to be, we can't just grow in Atlanta. We've got to grow all over the state. And that's going to look different. Valdosta is going to have its niche, that the local school system is going to continue to look for ways to separate themselves. The technical programs are going to be able to work with the workforce development, the industry that shows up there and that partners with the education system. Valdosta is going to look different than Savannah, than Macon, than Dalton. They're all going to look different. And I think that's great. That's what provides character for our state. But really creating an opportunity, if we're going to become the technology capital of the East Coast, then it's going to take more than just training a workforce. We're going to need to be able to capture the best and brightest from around the world to come here and to do a couple of things. We're going to need them to come here and innovate around the challenges that many of us face. We're also going to need people to invest here. And I think this is a great opportunity. Just imagine if we could continue to cultivate an environment where investment dollars, and I'm talking big investment dollars, tens of millions of dollars, would become comfortable on a routine basis investing in your community and in my community and other communities because they know that we're creating the talent pool necessary to grow and innovate around their big ideas.
Without any expansion in Georgia for Medicaid coverage over the next 10 years, 1 million Georgians will be uninsured. How would Governor Kemp expand that coverage? Or what proposed waivers does he have planned?
I'm excited to be working with Governor Kemp on this huge initiative of reforming healthcare here in Georgia. I think we've all recognized around the country that the federal government has decided to leave it to the states to figure out how we can reform the healthcare system, and it needs reforming. There's no doubt about it. I'm excited to join with the governor in trying to create a system here in Georgia that I believe other states are going to look at what we're doing and how we're doing it and point to us as the example. The route we're taking, and we just passed this bill out of the Senate this week, is taking both an 1115 waiver, which talks about Medicaid and the definition around Medicaid. But I think equally as important is it's talking through a waiver called a 1332 waiver, which really deals with the free markets, private insurance markets, in solutions that we think will drive down the costs and increase access. And that's a bipartisan solution, right? Everybody, no matter, 11 million Georgians want better access to health care and they want lower costs. This dual waiver approach, I believe, is going to help us. There's things that we're going to be over the next few months being able to vet out through data and through statistical analysis and through engagement with consultants, talking about ways like high-risk pools, being able to build invisible insurance pools that allow us to deal with the high-risk claims, allowing us to take on health risk or health reimbursement accounts that finally allow employers to back in to participate or partially participate in helping to pay for individuals' health care. At the end of the day, we want to get as many folks, and I believe this is bipartisan, as many folks gainfully employed and on private insurance as possible, because ultimately I believe that allows us to deliver the best health care we can to Georgians. Wrapping that conversation up, I'm excited to eventually be, I believe, the go-to state in the country for healthcare reform.
16% of rural Georgia is without broadband. What do you propose a funded plan to help with broadband, with internet all over the state? As you know, it affects education to healthcare. So what are your funding plans for that?
Well, for far too long, I don't believe this building understood exactly the depth of the need for broadband in rural Georgia. I truly believe that's happening now. Walking into committee rooms and listening to chairmen and legislators come talk to me about their ideas and solutions, it really feels like we're finally in a really innovative period of time where there's some really good creative solutions coming. There's currently legislation about the House and the Senate that's rapidly moving through, that's doing things like opening up new providers into new underserved or unserved markets, and looking for opportunities to push that as close to the free markets as possible, and allowing us to find ways to drive that. But you're right. I mean, there's 16% of Georgia is waiting for a broadband signal on their homework, on their telehealth appointment, on their business needs, on their economic growth opportunities. Chambers of Commerce are trying to attract companies. They're needing they're needing a solution to this. I do think technology is going to ultimately be our friend on this. I think technology is ultimately going to help us solve the gap of going out into the very, very rural areas that are important areas to us, whether it be ag, whether it be just areas of education or areas of small hospitals with healthcare needs. Ultimately, I believe technology is going to be our friend. And I want Georgia to be a technology-friendly zone, as we just talked about earlier. I want to invite the best and brightest from around the world to come here and feel comfortable solving our challenges around broadband so they can go commercialize it to the rest of the world.
Lieutenant Governor, I do appreciate you interviewing with me, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
RainPro Irrigation is proud to announce the launch of our new website, where you can purchase irrigation parts and supplies for all your irrigation needs. We are dedicated to selling the highest quality in irrigation materials and supplies by purchasing from the most trusted manufacturers. Whether you are a farmer or municipality, we are your one-stop source for all your irrigation parts. With our user-friendly interface, we make it easy for you to find the right part at the right price. Rainmakers for 40 years. Come shop with us.